Well, hello everyone. So I'm doing a follow-up video from about 2 weeks ago. Did a video just kind of going over the first impressions of the game, the disaster launch, what I liked, didn't like, and certain issues. And now I think now it's been about 2 weeks since, since that video and the launch itself. So I thought maybe like I want to go over a bit, like I think where the game's currently at, what they've worked on, what has improved. And also, I've had more time to delve into it because when I did the video, I had a few hours into it. Now I'm about 20-ish, maybe a little over 20 now. Mostly focused on the career mode, but I've done all the other stuff a bit. So I thought it might be fun to kind of just do like a follow-up video and almost kind of give like I would say my, uh, I guess you'd say official thoughts, but in reality, the game's gonna constantly update and change. But I do think like my perception of the game has just changed a bit now that I've had more time, and more importantly, the issues are going to have been resolved. For starters, I didn't record. I said just not to. The load times have improved quite a bit. I'd say that first week, especially the first few days, it was a good 10-ish minutes. Once they got the servers working, you can even get into the game. It took like 10 minutes to get in. Now, I say it's probably about half of that. I say it's about 3 to 5 minutes. Sometimes a little faster, sometimes a little slower. It might vary a bit if I'm using Ethernet, maybe time of day with the servers, who knows. But at least it's like half of I think where it was roughly. It still takes a little bit of time, but it is mostly stream. And a good example, kind of dive into this real quick. This is not available, but it does show my library, which maybe this was here last time. I didn't see it until I was looking through this. So see, it shows the city updates, and these are all done from the previous game, but see it says stream now. So that means they're now like, it's not into your hard drive, it's not being like through the cloud, downloaded, only, streaming into your game. So that way you can save on space. And I do know like this game, I think I'm trying to think roughly, because I had a community folder as well, so I did have like external stuff from like other party sites into the game, but it was probably roughly 150 gigabytes. Maybe I exaggerate. It was at least over 100. No, it was about 150 because all the world updates I did kept, but you had to like pick and choose because if you did everything, it probably would have been like a 500 plus gigabyte game or even more, depending how deep you went into the paid stuff, let's say. But now that's being streamed, this opens up a lot of space and it does help. But there is some flaws here. Like, see, these are some of the airports I bought. Then none of them have carried. Not all of them carried over. Tokyo Landmarks. This has not carried over. Originally said almost everything was going to carry over, but it's interesting it hasn't. This one has. Wasn't really a good plan, to be honest. And now the 7.3 Max is in this game, like the actual, their version over like the third-party person I bought. But anyway, that's kind of the first thought. It's kind of like, it's definitely really improved because the load times aren't bad, and even when I do free fighting career mode, it's gotten better. And before we're going to go into flight, just one last thing I did want to show was this. This is like the bug fist, and there's some other, all the forums and stuff, but basically, it kind of shows like what they fixed, what's under investigation, VRAM bug, hardware limitation. I think my FPS has actually improved quite a bit in my opinion. It's interesting, maybe some people are having issues. I've actually went back in high end from medium, and it's been pretty stable. There's sometimes it'll be patchy, but it seems better. But anyway, so like, this is one thing I'll give them a lot of credit. The team is very, they acknowledge when there's problems and bugs and stuff that needs to be worked on. They don't try to deny it, or like, all right, well here's an update, then shut the studio down. No, it's, to them, this is a living, breathing, evolving product. They want to keep working and improve over just release it, get it out there, do a patch or two, and then then it's over. So I'm probably going to mostly focus on career mode in this video, but I will show a little bit in the free flight. Like, there's still this, I haven't figured out, either it's a setting or a bug. I have live weather on. Like, this is time. See, like, and then you click it, then it shows like live weather when you're in this screen, but not with that. And I do think if you click like Chicago and stuff, and then no, see, it just says like it won't really give you good details. So you almost have to keep doing that. That's one bug that's been really annoying. What is cool, I will show you this. Actually, well, I'm not actually gonna mostly fly into career mode, but I will start like just the loading screen, because this is gonna be the more the live stream day, where I think career mode's a mix of live and like recorded, like not recorded, but like it's pretty set where it always seems like I'm flying the summer months, even though I'm in the northern hemisphere right now, you know, in December. So, and also this kind of gives you a little sense maybe how long it takes it loads. Like, it's not the fastest loading times, but I almost accept it just for the storage space, because even though I have a terabyte hard drive here, I mean that game, like Flight Sim alone was probably like 20-ish% of my, you know, my hard drive that was available. Because mind you, Windows, Windows and all the basic programs you need in general probably takes up, at least 20, it's not just a couple gigabytes, it's probably like, 20 plus, maybe 30. And then some other basic apps and stuff, web browser cookies and so forth. Oh yeah, it is nighttime, so it's gonna be a little hard to see.
O'Hare Tower, November 7-5. 637 at runway 28. Right ready for departure.
But see, it's not too bad. It loads pretty well. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna alter this a bit. Let's just get. Oh, turn that off. Yeah, so you can mess with the time. We'll go out. And what's cool, so you have dates here. So this is December. Might be a little easier if we flew, but what we can do free camera here. You can like, see it actually affects the time. For some reason it's not doing it. The grasses should be a lot browner, to be honest. It looks like this one is, but I know like I tried some airports. It's like really brown. And then when you go like summer months, when it changes, it's like really green. So it's kind of cool to see the environment. But maybe we can do one thing that did well. You can do free cam now, and the pause screen, which is great. So let's just try this, because there's a forest reserve just west of O'Hare. Because I live in Chicago, so I'm very well familiar with this region and these airports. I'm sorry, this airport. Actually, airports in the region, but this airport in particular. Yeah, so I'll have to reopen the game, but yeah, so we're gonna try and get over here. We're now in the summer months. This should be good. This is just for example, like. Okay, I guess I have to do this. Let's just go back to December 4th. And then we go back into free cam. I'm using a keyboard and mouse. So one, the lighting changes quite a bit, so it's trying to reflect where the sun is at that time of day, at this time of year, which is really cool. And then you can't look at the trees. They look a lot. I think they're trying to make it look still more fallish for some reason, even though everything's pretty much dead. But a good example, you kind of see it there. Look at the trees, like some of them don't have leaves and stuff. I would say most of these trees should have no leaves because there aren't really many pine trees over here, in my opinion. But they're using this AI trying to recreate it. But yeah, so trying to capture that well. I mean, we can argue about the traffic not being on the interstate, and actually, you know what? Sorry, they're using the satellite images of all the construction they've done. That's funny. Anyway, yeah. So there's the interstate, train yard. But anyway, so yeah, so they're trying to like show different flora and stuff. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's really cool. Like the last game didn't have that, or at least not to this extent. Yeah, we're gonna go into career mode a little bit because I didn't want to talk about that. That's where a lot of my impressions will be. I do like how they do it now. You in-fly and it kind of zooms back out, zooms in. And what is cool, there is live traffic. There's a UPS flight. There's a plane here, but I don't see what it says. There's American Airlines, another American Airlines. United should be over here. Yep, there's a United flight. United's in this Terminal 1 here. American's in Terminal 3, and Terminal 2 is like United Express, Air Canada. Also, I think Delta is over here, and then this one. Actually, no, Delta's. It's weird. They've kind of taken over parts of the international terminal. Anyway, So we get out of that. So, like, because the free flight's the same thing from the last game, but I do like the little minor changes they've done with the presentation. The free camera, really nice. You don't have to pause in the game. You can just pause in the menu and move around. And it seems to move around a lot easier now. It seemed a little more stiff in the previous game, in my opinion, at least by the default settings. But the other stuff, actually, real quick, I did mess with this. I won't do this. I don't want to make this video like an hour long. But it's kind of cool. So you got all this different stuff. You know, it's like these flights, and you can do like little planes or that. And the whole purpose is trying to, like, you know, get the right angle and get the picture, and you take a picture. And that's really what it is. But at least it's more like really expanding beyond, like, you know, checking all the monuments. Like, they're always there, but now they've actually had this whole mode where it's trying to really emphasize it and help you get pictures and try out different aircrafts and stuff. And again, you can say the same like you know as done in the free flight, but I appreciate it. Like, I think it's kind of cool. You know, try to do different angles, little challenges. Some of these are easy and some of them are hard. You got to do like different angles or capture also like another monument that's next to it or both inside, depending on the location. And that's just mine. It's like everything. I did airports, you know, times a day. You got shades of seasons, Europe, you know, nature. Yeah, sunrise in the Grand Canyon. And that's what's nice. So it also kind of helps with the lighting, so it kind of almost just sets it up. You know, just so you can see these beautiful scenes and sights at probably like the most optimal times. Anyway, then finally, before we go into career mode, they have Challenge League, which is like, you know, through, you know, these races and low altitude stuff. I've done a couple of them. They're fun. And then sim activities, kind of similar rally race. I think the difference is these are more like, this could be more single players right now, while the Challenge League is like part of the multiplayer stuff. And there's Discovery Flight, so that's what I should have mentioned with the World Photographer. Discovery stuff is kind of what they did like in the previous game, and it was pretty cool when you fly over sites and stuff. I think now though they're trying to like use the hot air balloons and other stuff where you can really take time to appreciate over trying to like, you know, worry about keeping the plane, you know, steady and pausing it, unpausing it, and hopefully when you unpause it doesn't like go down all of a sudden because you're not holding the controller properly, you know, stuff like that. But the big thing besides this one would be the career mode. And I finally got a little further into this. So I got you start getting your personal license and then you work to get your commercial license. It didn't take too long to get to the first two steps here. I just need a little water there. So I kind of go there, so show you what I mean with the certification. Yeah, I haven't done helicopters yet. I kind of focus on the plane side. But yeah, so you kind of start commercial, and really the first flights are mostly like they call it first flight. It's just like a guy fly, you know, local air club they say, and guy just wants to see like, you know, his town or region above the air, and this is like a quick circle and back. Another one that's like plane delivers. I should show you all this in a second, but more opens up over time, like I'll show you. But then like you do these missions, and eventually you start getting paid these CR credits. You know, I went and did this and paid this one, you know, where I can fly at night. But then you have like instrument rating, multi-engine, you know, high performance. You can see here, this is like 5,000, but then this is like 15,000. And the goal is just kind of like the street. You work on, yeah, I think eventually you can unlock everything and do whatever you want. But it's more like building up and just opening up more stuff, you know, like, you know, transport, you know, passengers or cargo. Interesting because you do like transport now, but it's usually like in a small Cessna plane. But eventually, I know like, there you go, jet airline. So eventually, you can get to like working for an airline company. And I want to be fair. I've done about most of my time in this game has been this. I haven't gotten to the company section yet, so there's even more that I've not unlocked. But overall, you get a good sense of where things are and like where it kind of goes. You know, turboprop, and then you got like, and oh. Yeah, and then like an example of specialization. So yeah, like the first flight, ferry flight, that's like delivering the person's plane. Flight scenes like it expands on the first flight, but kind of goes over multiple areas. And I would say more famous areas, like one, like it's like Venice and stuff. I'll show you on the map. Skydive is where you get to a high level and drop. And this one I just unlocked. I haven't tried this yet. But then you got like aero advertising, charter service. Yeah, see, you gotta get a level, gotta get that, but then you also need to get better landings, which I've been struggling. I'm getting a little better at. I'll show you, try my best to show you that. Instrument ratings, you know, the license instrument rating. Yeah, and it's like, it just keeps going, you know, cargo transport, aerial firefighting. So it kind of shows you the different types of stuff, and there's also levels as well. So it's kind of like an RPG of being a pilot, and you kind of work your way up. And overall, I like it, but it has been a little slow, grindy at times, and I'll show you why. So we get into the missions here. Well, let me backtrack. So you pick like a starting point, like a small airport. I actually picked Japan. That's where I started. And then overall, I then opened up Europe and other parts. But the downside, like, good example. So these are like a lot of the missions. So there's sightseeing, but a lot of, you know, deliver the plane and stuff. You know, more sightseeing. And that's fun. I actually don't mind it. It's just more like it's like I've spent a good, you know, at least, you know, I'd say 15 hours in this mode for sure by now. And I say, you know, over one of my flights have just been the same plane. It's been always the Cessna. It's usually flying in a circle in certain parts, and then it's also like or delivering the same plane. Like, it's just, it's been a little repetitive. And granted, I guess you can say I'm flying, but now I am starting to unlock stuff. So like, I unlocked skydiving recently. I want to say there's another one up there. And some of the other ones starting to open up. So it's like trying to show me like the future missions and stuff. You know, this helicopter. See, here's skydiving. But see, these are all like the Cessna 172 Skyhawk, Cessna, the Cessna. Let's see here. So this is OIDP. Is this my beginning airport or the end? That's a good sized airport, and we'll do that one. The good news, you can skip some of this, so it does help a bit. There we go. All right. Some of these landing entries make no sense. They really don't. But yeah, see, this is like a long flight. It's about 45 minutes. Luckily, we can bypass it. Now, you can do the whole flight, no skipping, and you will actually get a little more experience and CR. I kind of just debate the timing of that. Like, is it really worth the time? Let me phrase that. Partially, yes, if you want to, like, continue seeing this and this stuff, and also part of me is like, one, they haven't taught me. I don't know how to do autopilot in this game. It used to be in that little top menu. It's not there. And I'm sure in some of these planes, oh, it's actually a different plane for once, it looks like. Finally, maybe this is something we'll do. Anyway. And granted, I don't know if like these smaller planes have that capability or not. And I assume they do, but it's like, as much as I like flying, so I just want to like just put an autopilot and enjoy the scenery, and that's a little difficult right now. So, anyway. So I'm kind of more skipping the long part of the flights and do the takeoff, landings, and taxis as best as I can. But yeah, so when I first did it was pretty slow. And see, there's a little bug right there. It's not horrible. You know, you got guys here you can walk right through, which I always find funny. But yeah, you can actually walk all around if you want. You want to keep walking forever and ever, you could. Take forever, but you get the idea. Yeah, I actually haven't flown this, so... Okay, there's only one thing to remove, I guess. Let's see, get to this thing here. Yeah, we'll just skip and get in the taxi.
Hi, it's Valeria, the maintenance supervisor. Thanks for taking care of this ferry
This is like the
flight.
first different plane I've actually
Today's
flown in
job
this game, and
involves
I've
getting
done
this
like
DR
a lot of, quite a few
400/100
flights
cadet to
by now.
Popolo Airport as soon as possible. The owner had to get his aircraft repaired over there. Now that it's fixed, he needs someone to fly it back to him. His name's Michel Muratori, and he is waiting at the destination to pick it up.
Alright, let's get
Now
this
give this
party
beautiful bird the VIP treatment it deserves. Take
Ah.
care.
going. Thank you. Now can I do my job, please?
Lima, India, Quebec, Sierra Traffic, Robin, India. Alpha, Charlie Golf Zulu is taxiing to runway 18.
Oh. There you go. I do like it's easier now. You can turn on the guides off and on, like just that's it. It's like a button. This plane definitely gets up to speed a lot faster than the normal Cessna Skyhawk I've been in. But yeah, you kind of see in the last video, if you reference it, it was definitely a lot laggy on the ground, and now it's a lot smoother in my opinion. You know, is it perfect? I mean, you know, that's subjective. Like, for me, if it's at least like, you know, ideally I wish it was 60 at all times, but at least if it's over 30 constantly, then it doesn't bother me too much. But when I was doing the last one, it really felt like it was in the 20s at times. And I thought maybe because of the vegetarian and stuff, I did take off a grass field. But anyway, now it seems like a lot better. Yeah, I knew he was going to get pissy at me. And yeah, and just kind of goes through the process of taxiing and then telling them when to take off and so forth.
Lima, India, Quebec, Sierra Traffic, Robin, India. Alpha, Charlie Golf Zulu taking off runway 18 north departure.
Really? So picky, wouldn't it? Just forget about it. I know with the Cessna Skyhawk, that doesn't get as fast as this. I can just tell how much faster this plane is. But yeah, you see, like, and this is kind of going to tie into the impressions now. You know, it looks gorgeous, and the last game is definitely gorgeous, but it definitely feels like they definitely improved the lighting of it, the vegetation. I think it's definitely gotten a lot better for sure. Maybe now I'm gonna land this plane. I never landed this plane before, like this particular plane. It really just looks absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, kind of like the big thing they changed, which I think this will tie into the autopilot, but I just haven't learned it yet, is there is like, I should start that. You know, there's like a tablet now that seems to do a lot of stuff, and I've owned a little bit of it, but not like all of it and stuff. And now also you can do a lot more settings in the game. You used to have to pause a lot of that, and then you're able to do. You get to 2,100 feet. Okay. Yeah. See, now I can skip, and we're about. So we're like 67 miles. So that's a good like 40-minute flight here. But again, it's like I apologize. Go through this. See, like, this plane doesn't really have an autopilot. And, you know, I get it. But part of me is like, sometimes I just want to like, just enjoy the flight, and unfortunately. Like, and for me, this is a plane, you're supposed to just stay level. You know, it's not a race or anything. So, and for people, that's fine. You know, if they want to do that, I'm not here to judge. It's just more of like my taste where, you know, like if I'm showing you the commercial airliners, it's going to allow you to go on autopilot. You turn the autopilot on in the system, in the plane itself, while you're like flying for like 2 or 3 hours. Alright. Good news though, you can skip to descent. So we'll save about 40 minutes, you know, it's a good 30-40 minutes this way. That said, some of these entries are really ridiculous in my opinion. I'm really curious how this lane is going to work, because I'm used to the Cessna. Oh, yeah, make sure you have to do that. There's been a bug that hasn't happened lately, where it's like, if you skip, then pressing the button was not like working with ATC unless I went directly into the ATC menu here, then it would work that way. It was really weird. So I see a bug. The airspeed has not changed at all. Like the engine, but that has not changed. Let's show my vertical speed. Oh yeah, so the best way with the landing scores I have seen, I got a tip from Reddit, like on a board. It says keep this around like 150, you know, 0 to 150, maybe 200 max. But if it's like steeper, then it really like lands hard and you get a bad land score. That's all that seems to really matter. But it's tough. Like another issue, like you need to get these good land. You need this like 50% landing smoothness to unlock stuff for a lot of more time. But a lot of these earlier flights, like this one's not bad. Actually, no, this is small. It's a small runway, and there's a lot of them are like really small and narrow. So it's just like, and then if you go off, and then it punishes you. And sometimes it'll, like if you go way too off, trying to slow the plane down, just because you misjudge it or just struggling how to read it, then it's like fails mission, you know? So it's a little, it's definitely difficult to figure that out, like, at times. Now, some of the better ones, the longer landing stretches, then I can kind of almost like, trying to like gently land, but it's almost floating. It just seems like it just takes too long to really get that speed and whatever right. But we'll see how this one goes. This one feels a little more, this feels a lot more responsive than the typical Cessna plane. And granted, I get why they're doing all this, and I actually do enjoy it. It's a good challenge, but it is frustrating at times where it feels like I've had a couple good landings, but I guess it was quote too hard, and it gave me like a 35%, despite having a nice speed and floating down over diving down, because I'm following their landing patterns, which kind of suck. Like, see, they want you to dive pretty fast, and you're going kind of fast now. I have no idea about my airspeed this time, so we'll see. Because we got a bug here, I see. And also, sometimes you gotta be careful, which is not unsurprising, it's happened in the previous game. These boxes sometimes, look, it hasn't been bad for like this, like landing, but I like a sightseeing, half the box is in the mountain. I'm like, look, dude, if I go through that box, I'm hitting the trees. Like, get this out, yeah. Pretty funny, but be mindful. Like here, look how low that box is, and yet look at that hill right there in the way. I will say, I do like this plane. This feels a lot better.
Lima India Delta Papa traffic Robin India.
Yeah, but the goal would be that vertical speed, which is
on
tough.
final runway 20 to land.
Alright, it's just gonna keep yelling at me if I use the flaps at all on this plane apparently. So you're just trying to lower it. We'll see how that does, but see, it's just tough. Now, luckily, this plane is pretty responsive. I like it a lot. The Cessna, sometimes I think is just really hard to slow down, because it really picks up speed when you, you know, go low. Also, one time I had a bug, so one time I did skip to parking, and it spawned my plane like against the building with the, you know, the propeller in the ground instead of crash the plane. I lost a lot of reputation that way. Is that a fighter jet? Oh my god, I think it is. Let's go buy this thing. I know they're just populating what makes sense at some of these small airports, but I'm like, unless it's a military base, and it looks nothing like a military base, because there's not much here. There's a fighter jet here. Look at that. There we go.
I know your flight was challenging. I'm glad it was you. I would have had a rough time. Thanks for taking care of my DR-400.
Yeah, this is kind of an example of like a mission, that especially early on, because a lot of them are first flights, so I see in this. I kind of was tempted to show you the skydiving. Yeah, I see. Look at landing smooth as 8. Like it's so tough. Like you're trying to like. I'll still get a B, but like see the flaps 3 times, taxi speeding. The one tip I've been trying to do better, or trying to like, I'm sort of ignoring the flight path because it does the sharp turn. And I feel like you have to dive too much, you get too much speed, and it's just so hard to control. As soon as I go further out, then come in, and that does help a bit. I just try to stay mostly on the flight path, but it is sometimes like you're just zigzagging all around the place, and it's just like, why? I know some people have criticized that, like even people that are actually like trained pilots say they don't usually do that. But see, here's a good example. So like, I mean, the no skip would be a lot higher if you did the whole thing, but you know, you only get about 600 usually per mission, I would say. And you know, I tried the best way to say this, to be honest, is like, there's nothing wrong, I think, with I feel like it needs to be a little higher because it takes time. But granted, you really do got to work your way up, even with the levels and stuff. But it's just like, I'm thinking like these specializations, you know, 1500. You know, like some of these aren't bad. 5,000, 10,000, you know, 5,000. I think this is 7,500. But then like over like that 40,000, 30,000. Now that said, what I've heard, and this is where I want to be fair, why, like, I almost need to play like 50 hours to probably give you the full picture. I know I've unlocked, so yeah, when you complete a flight to a certain area, then more stuff unlocks, so you kind of expand the map that way. I'm not gonna jump into this, but I want to see what the pay is. It doesn't say, at least I'm not seeing it. But apparently, which I will try out soon. Is this the cargo? Oh no, the cargo. They sent me like, yeah. So this is like my new area I have to unlock. Apparently the cargo pays well. I feel like it would show me. I thought it used to show you. Yeah, but it's not seeing it. Anyway, I apologize. Yeah, and this is... Yeah, he's using the Cessna. But apparently that's just a... interesting. I don't know if I could actually use this one or not. So, no, you had to complete the first one, and then you can do this one. And that's a different plane, too. Yeah, in general it's the Cessna 760, but there's a few that aren't. But anyway, so that's kind of a broad overview. I do like it, and it does show like feature, like, you know, when you get the passenger transport, fly 737 MAX. I don't know if the ones they show are like the first ones, or just the ones they show to kind of unlock, and then you unlock more as you get closer and stuff. But it is kind of cool. Like, here's one. Oh, that's a helicopter. That's kind of neat. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of that. But overall, I think my conclusion is this game is. I think once the bugs have been fixed, a lot of the serious stuff with the loading, anything that was really game breaking, it's a really solid game. I honestly recommend it now at this point. Shame about the poor launch, and there's still flaws. Like, I have some, you know, gripes here. I think with this leveling system, it's just a little grindy and slow, I think, to an extent. But, you know, maybe that's the point. It's just like you enjoy it and you're supposed to take your time and not rush through it. But, you know, unlike let's say an RPG of a story and going to, you know, it's just really about your pilot and just unlocking new missions. And, you know, it just takes a while to start building that up where you get a little variety. Because really, that was the first different plane I've flown in career mode. Technically, there's one other plane I did flew, but there was a bug with the passenger and never got in the plane. I decided not to try because we might like go say mission fail and lose my reputation or something stupid. But beyond that, it's been the same plane for a while too. And I know that's supposed to get better as you unlock stuff over time, but it has been like, it needs a little variety, I feel like, in that regard. At least like maybe the, like, I think an example, hold on. I think it shows you what planes you've unlocked in the specialization. So yeah, so these are the specialization. And I think I used that once and it was broke because of the person never got in the plane. Here's all these planes you unlock. Compatible aircraft, and yet it's always this one, you know? And then same with this. And granted, some of these I think you need to get like a different license, like see jet engine rating, tailwind endorsement. So maybe that is, but it's like, but see, you go private pilot, you know. There's at least like more than one plane, and so far it's been really hard to get more of those to show up. So, you know, I haven't seen that, you know, that plane. So I think that's where you kind of start debating, and then you're like, all right, how do you do it? You know, should you do more tailwind first or high performance? And you kind of look at your certifications, and it's like, all right. I got 11,000. So I can go like two ways here, or you wait till you get 15 or multi-engine. You know, that's where you kind of decide, and then, you know, continue working on it. But anyway, besides those gripes here, overall I really like it. It's definitely, it's solid. I like the weather. The weather is definitely better. I'm actually thinking of any like serious weather. It just frustrates me that for some reason I can't see weather on this map. So yeah, it's live. So if it's daytime, I bet you if we go down here, yes, it's Japan Airlines, ANA. That said, the plane it picks is basically whoever you got selected at a given time. So anyway, sorry, just kind of thinking here, but yeah, overall it is a definitely, as I said, a good game now. You know, it's flawed, but I think it's solid. you know, really I mentioned the gripes in career mode. Your war photographer's just challenge, just trying to get the right angle and image and stuff. And the only other thing would be the marketplace is not up and running yet for some reason, which I think is a little odd. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy this kind of a follow-up. I do recommend it now in its state. If you're not really in the flight sim, then I would wait for a sale. Just want to explore the world and stuff. But if you really want to enjoy like the career mode and this progression arc of your pilot's career and do some of these activities or war photographer, I mean, there's quite a bit here now that I recommend it. So anyway, thank you for listening. Take care and bye-bye for now.